Welcome back, everybody. We got more NECC playoff action coming right your way. Just wrapped up with the first one. That was our Division 3 match, I believe, in the Mid-East. And now, BearLight, we're headed off to Division 6 for another top 4 slugfest.
We sure are. East region specifically, which we got to see a little bit of a sneak peek last week of that, us personally, on the Post University channel. But number 2 Eastern Eagles White coming in at 4-2, facing off with the number 3 seed in SNHU. The Patriots Yellow have a 6-1 season that they're coming off of, so this regular season certainly pretty hot coming in as that number 3 seed. That's a great record coming in.
Nearly 7-0. They lost to the number 1 seed Endicott in Game 7. So it doesn't get closer than that than to pull off just barely that 6-1 record. So yeah, that makes me particularly excited to see this South New Hampshire squad. They may be the lesser seed, but it seems like they've been able to carve away more wins than their opposition here tonight.
No doubt about it. Fallen Realms, Nerfa, and Squishy Shark will get the call here for Eastern Esports. Meanwhile, Eagle, Cole Chandler, and Arctic Wolf will be the 3 on the pitch here for SNHU Yellow. So these 3 for both teams have been very present throughout the regular season. The regular 3s lined up and ready to go, which means we're in for a heater for sure. Again, that number 3 seed having the edge here, coming from a, maybe it depends on how you look at it, right? Because it could be a situation where it's was this a stronger portion of the East region of Division 6, or, maybe they're just a lot of great teams there and kind of rounded out accordingly. So it's tough to say until we get on the pitch here tonight. I do know the Eastern Eagles coming up a 4-2 win. So are SNHU. 4-2 win against Temple for them specifically in round 1. So both teams have a head of confidence coming in here, but obviously looking to perform better when you get later on in these playoffs.
Yeah, 4-2 is a good result for, I think, both teams. It shows that they've gone against some resistance and adapted or kept steadfast in their protocols to carve away that win. And on the point of SNHU, I think maybe it could have been one of those weaker regions where them and Endicott just kind of stormed across everybody else, but we're not going to know until we get to the match, like you said. So let's go ahead and do it, everybody. Our second semifinals matchup of the night is here. The number 2 seed of Eagles White versus the SNHU Yellow squad is on.
And just as important as Division 3, Pyro, it's all about being able to, settle in early, be able to figure out where do you want to approach. Do you want to take the approach that we saw from Mount Union? Or you want to wait back, play bend but don't break? Or are you an Indiana Tech playing much more aggressively, positionally a little bit more forward? Expected out of SNHU. I got to see a little bit of them during the regular season. And we'll see if the Eagles can maybe counter that the way that we've seen in times past. But 30 seconds around, and we saw a lot of defense last year as it continues that same trend here in this one.
Yes, definitely some similar trends, especially with one team getting a little more heavy set on the demos than the other. WDS Eagle tracking that ball back down to the ground. Was happy to have reinforcements because that one almost slipped through. Some good disruption play here. Start out for the Eagles White on the demos, on the shots, and we got another one coming through on the other side. Nerfa exacting revenge on the demolition. Sparks flying either way on the field here, Bear.
A bit of a settle down here from SNHU as you saw Eagle go to catch it. Eagle going up against the Eagles, so no confusion there. But a good punch out here from the Eagles' white defense. And Squishy Shark going to live it right down for a teamie. That's been great passing down into the middle field, especially for this Div 6. And Fallen Realms has an opportunity with a touch off the back wall denied by Cole Chandler.
And Cole's gonna work their way back with a mid boost and a double tap to the pass. Shot rings out. Savage had the right idea, but just a little off on the execution, which is typical for these first games, as players know what's at stake here. They got to shake off the nerves and slot those goals just as they've been doing all season long.
SNHU looking a little bit more so on the side of going up with confidence, although a couple of times they haven't quite connected, but expect that to certainly bend its head and become a little bit more clean as the series goes along. Not sure the status of these players as far as whether or not they've been to a semifinals, but obviously a big moment no matter who you are in this one to try to punch your ticket to the finals, as we've done once already tonight. Let's see which team can get that edge. The all-important game number 1 still remains scoreless here. And almost changed, except for SNHU able to make a last-second dive across the pitch and make that save, make it 2 saves as they get out of the zone.
Oh, nice idea there from WDS, and now it's the ball left actually for a teammate. And that was the right idea. Cole Chandler slips this right past the defense on a beautiful diagonal.
You love how the Patriots work together in that moment, and a demo at the tail end to just, well, add injury to insult, I suppose. Well, able to get that early lead. SNHU yellow in that driver's seat now here at this point in time, but Eagles White have certainly had a share of their own opportunities, include this one in the conversation as they go back wall. The follow-up opportunity going to be shot to the corner instead. Now you got numbers the other way. An opportunity to try to jump out and get the bump, but they didn't really look for it there, to be honest. It's still SNHU looking to press in and make it difficult for the Eagles. They are hungry for the 2-0 lead, but that's not going to be right now, and at least not in that possession as it's right back down the pitch.
And Eagles White are doing great, I think, on the head of Squishy Shark, who seems to be the front man for this operation, getting a lot of great clears downfield, but finding themselves out of the equation. Never mind, add a Shark back to the equation. That was a wild save off the post. Maybe Eagles White can make more of it as well. Demoed for the effort is Fallen. Had that ball been left for Squishy Shark, I think we'd see a tie game.
Almost got a touch there and actually swung around and did get to that ball next, even though it seemed to be eyeballing the Patriots jumping up in that moment. As the demo at midfield will open things up. Fallen Realms not able to get a touch either, but he'll catch a pass again from Squishy and get some ball luck here. A little bit of bounce luck. Here's Fallen Realms will be credited with this one, the equalizer with 58 seconds left.
Sometimes it pays to just be in the play there. Fallen Realms kind of rounding out on the defensive rotation, but decides to still play a piece of the ball. They pick up a slice of the pie a bit heavier than expected, but they'll feast on it. Tie game, minute left.
This one open, chance shot, and they're going to strike through. Eagles will regain that lead just as quick as it disappeared with 51 seconds left, and now in the driver's seat once more.
Oh, man, Squishy Shark. Yeah, you just got to line it up at that point. Expect the unexpected, right? Yeah, the backboard defense is there for SNHU, but it's right off the kickoff, and players will not have the resources or not be as set to make that play, just like this. A kickoff chance for SNHU trying to get this game tied up again, but Squishy Shark showing off on the defensive end with a great save, holding that 1-goal lead for now.
Add to it, press the box, but no support from teammates, so that'll allow SNHU yellow able to dive onto this one too. A loose play. This will go back wall. Great touch away from Fallen Realms to just kind of place that one off the crossbar and get it out of the reach of SNHU, but still diving into it. I like this aggression late. It's what you look for with 14 seconds left, but Eagle not able to get a touch, so that'll leave it for Fallen Realms, who does a great job to dribble it, but look out, it's right to Cole. Now shot taken, but well wide of the target. With 2 seconds left, they'll take another shot, but Fallen Realms stands in the way too, shielding that one and not allowing SNHU to get back into it. Eagles White will take the Game 1 victory.
There's a game well fought. The tied-up game just stirred Eagles White to be a little more ferocious on that other end, and confident as well. You know, you see the saves come out specifically from Fallen and Squishy. Oftentimes when they pick up those saves, they're able to bat that ball down to the other side and convert a shot and maybe even a chance of a goal on the other end. They also capitalize on a great kickoff play, leading this team to just show off mechanically. You know, like that follow through on Squishy Shark again on the backboard play. Read it perfectly, dialed in. I think that's going to be the case for this matchup, BearLight, is who's dialed in on the shot taking, because we saw great potential out of SNHU. I mean, the power of the dominance from WDS Eagle. We see that the shots just get ripped, but at a certain point, they just got to be on target between the posts, under the crossbar.
Yeah, agreed. And, you know, we saw they literally on the goal line a couple of times, certainly once. It was inches away from being able to, at that point in time, tie the game at 1. They eventually did anyways, but that would have been ultimately their second goal. That would have put them in the lead, and then we would be talking overtime potentially if that were the case. So there's those little moments that happen that you need to be able to capitalize on, especially when you look for some support. There were some passes that seemed like there should have been a teammate there, but at the same time, you have to calculate and say, was that a blind pass in the first place? Sure, you expect a teammate to be there, but that's where communication comes in handy. So we'll see if SNHU can't clean that up a little bit and maybe keep themselves relevant here in this series.
Hopefully the server stays alive too. I was just mentioning that because we had some cash cups here for Rocket League Champions Road, those tournaments that they host, and the tournaments were delayed almost an hour just because the servers were down. So fingers crossed that sticks together. One thing you don't have to question is whether or not this Eagles white attack is going to be linked up, because that's a beauty of a shot chance from Fallen to find the back of the net.
Just all about forcing Cole Chandler into a spot that they don't necessarily want to be in. I thought they handled it as well as they could, especially with the position that they had to be able to get up in the air and challenge early, not let them get that shot up, but it served as a pass when the rest of the team was prepared and the rest of the defense on the other side was, well, quite frankly not. This is a good chance for an answer, but it rings off that crossbar, and unfortunately for SNHU, another opportunity that's extremely close that doesn't go.
I think they're getting closer. You know what? I see that as progress. That wasn't barring out. That was barring nearly in. So just a couple more pixels, and you've got yourself some bangers of goals. South New Hampshire. Savage Slasher, who to me sounds more menacing than Squishy Shark, but hasn't had the same kind of output. He's looking to progress this ball further and get this team of SNHU back on the ball.
And Cole Chandler's been really the brains of the operation and really been where he needs to be at all times. The challenges are good, whether it's midfield, as I pointed out a little bit earlier, or being able to step up in the place to challenge when needed on the opposite side of the ball. It's really being able to create odd number of chances that they're looking for right now, right on cue, able to get right back to it. But Squishy Shark, another time that we're calling his name again. And Urka tries to get up here, does get a touch. It'll be backwards. No support either. Grand opportunity, but it'll be through the box and out.
I can appreciate SNHU just being in the right place, the right time. That was a near shot from WDS. And before that, you called out Cole Chandler, who, again, used all their boosts just to be in position for that shot. And, well, right place, right time, certainly, for the Eagle, who spread their wings to fly in for that equalizer.
Eagle on Eagle crime right there. I mean, that was perfectly placed. Top cheese, upper 90, far side. Fantastic work from Eagle there. I love that. SNHU finally finding some life. And he figured at some point in time that dominance would come through. The Cole Chandler's right back up to challenging the back wall. And the touch from Fallen Realms made it incredibly dangerous as it went into the goal box, but no harm done, at least not now, but it's still looking dangerous. Another opportunity punches through, but Nefra is able to get it over to the corner here, and Fallen Realms should be able to clear.
That shot reminded me of just a bad option for a quarterback in football, and throwing it into coverage. 3 defenders lined up there on Eagles White, which you don't want to see the defense clustered up, but maybe in that position it was helpful for them. Nevertheless, Eagles White, after that stop, they've managed to gather possession. WDS Eagle getting rid of it all the way that they can. Fallen Realms around the corner. There's a team bump. Cole Chandler trying to recover here and will rotate around their teammate of WDS, who once again flies in for the clear. We just can't get unglued this right side of the stage until the pass finally comes center. Demolition there from Cole Chandler as he picked up a demo. But not a goal, not yet.
But they're still on it as well. That back pass will be handled by Eagle as well. And that's what you like to do, because Cole Chandler, you know, you have your support behind you. You know that you're the next one in. The second man dives in when they exactly need it, because even if you don't get that goal there, when you dive in, you're not surrendering defensive opportunities, but also, you know, you get a demo in the process, and that allowed them to really stay put as you have to wait for your teammate, if you're the Eagles, for him to respawn. So I like that ability of being, you know, just no hesitation attitude. It certainly pays off, but look out, opportunity, and Eagles will regain their lead here, 2-1.
This was happening at a certain point in time. It was inevitable to me. Nerfa locking in for that shot. Fallen following up by kicking Eagle to the curb. A little bit of revenge tactics there to push away their opposition. Eagles White in position to extend their lead in the series to 2-0, but that's going to require them to keep SNHU out of their harm's way. So far, so good. Squishy Shark angles it towards the net. That's a low lob that's taken care of by Savage Slasher. And look at him try to get rid of it. No boost, but the front flip into the ball. Gets some momentum along with the upward passing mobility of SNHU. Pretty nice connection. Almost good for the goal.
Ooh.
This one surely is. Cole Chandler with the scoop and score.
Ready for the BearLight special, the doink on this one. Just found it and actually got a flip in there too, and that's what propelled it. Got so much velocity. I was wondering why. And that's why able to flip into it with the top side of the car. I was like, did that go off the corner? Because that had some zip. And, well, that's a great answer from SNHU. Get some pace on it. Get some life in the comms.
That's right. That's right. There's life all right. They're screeching at this point. SNHU yellow. They can't be stopped.
Oh, I just realized the American flag for the Patriots. Fantastic.
There it is.
Yeah. So 3-2 now, SNHU. Very quick goals. Less than 20 seconds apart. They've secured the lead. A great way to answer back and perhaps not allow them to get right back to it. That was a grand opportunity to secure this game number 2. They weren't able to quite find it, and with 20 seconds left, Squishy looking for any kind of support, but it's right back at you. The Patriots have been great in that way.
Got to be careful not to overextend here. That was a close one for Eagles White as they managed to wipe sweat off their brow and now try to move it upfield. Back pass to Nerfa, won't connect, but Fallen, you've got boost, you've got ball. Cole Chandler was the antidote, though. Spiked that ball away and put the game to bed. SNHU yellow with the tied-up series.
Stick with your game plan. Trust the process until the very end. There's nothing that they really truly adjusted mid-game, in my opinion. I think Cole Chandler was a big part of that by being positionally sound and continuously putting on pressure. And, you know, you get that many shots on, eventually something will break through. It was a very defensive, scrappy battle for the first 3.5 minutes there until finally some goals started to go and flow. And SNHU, they certainly needed to be able to get that equalizer 2-2 to punch through and really find the momentum and confidence they need in the series, because other than that, it has been very much almost exclusively the Eastern Eagles finding goals, just because goals hadn't come they were coming as a premium in game number 1. Different story in game 2. If it continues that same trend, SNHU, they're going to look to show why they might have an advantage in that type of game.
Yeah, there's momentum to roll off of here, and I think it's especially coming off the back of Cole Chandler, someone we've been mentioning a lot, someone who has not shied away from the demos, but was 2 for 5 shots. That's 5 of the team 8, I believe. So a lot of forward-thinking approaching from Cole Chandler, just in the terms of getting that progression on the attack side. So you continue to crash the boards, you continue to rebound and to get those shots to go. SNHU yellow may have a bright future in this series.
All it takes is one little bit of life, as long as the rest of the team buys into that message and continues to play well. That's what you look for. And right now you're seeing an open backside, but Nerfa was able to get back to it in time. Squishy Shark can't get that touch, though. So Nerfa, who disappeared a little bit, I'll be honest, in game number 1, was able to make a couple big saves here and allow Fallen Realms to get around. You love to see him come into life and trying to get the full balance of the Eagles White team that we've come to know and love.
I think Fallen Realms is like a rock for this defense of Eagles White right now. I've seen some awesome saves from this player. Those quick aerials, not really frequent in this Division 6, but on the goal line has made some stellar moves. So going to continue to look at Fallen to help out Nerfa there on the defensive side. At the moment, though, they have the chance to work it the other way. Nice shot out of Fallen. It rains high for the pass to Squishy Shark, and there you go. Eagles White back with their lead.
And again, it's all about communication. Squishy Shark very easily could have fallen into the trap of, hey, third person back. I need to make sure that I have it locked down on the backside here, but you got to understand the circumstances as well. Being able to turn there, especially when you have a couple of boost packs that you can pick up in the midfield. I like that decision making to stay in the play. It can be risky unless you find the right time, and Squishy Shark found the exact right time to punch through.
Great timing there, and WDS Eagle kind of with the same idea there. Get in the face of your opposition at the right moment. Would have been a great shot there, but just a misjudgment on the aerial. Momentary 2v2 here. A couple of demos on the board. Ends up not favoring the offense. SNHU have to try again. Get back to the drawing board. Get that game plan working yet again. It's going to have to start from their own end. BDS Eagle has been fantastic on these aerials and nearly goes coast to coast, forcing Squishy Shark to make that block and put it right in the breadbasket of Chandler.
Chandler's a wall master. I'm wondering if he's got the wall crawler. No, I guess he doesn't have anything as far as his tag goes. That's what it seems to be. Just like constantly pressuring it. And listen, you know, you've got a lot of players that have the office, you know, when we talk about soccer, hockey, even Rocket League. Been plenty of examples of that, and certainly it's one of his places he likes to be currently. Midfield and be able to work off of that. It's been effective, and listen, if it works, it's maybe a little bit unconventional from time to time at SNHU. We'll reap its benefits in the meantime and stay even here as they equalize at 1. Not only just in this game, but also in the series. It's been as tight as we imagined.
As indeed, this is Dangerous Eagle once again near the ceiling. That is not a sight that the Eagles want to see, as you'd expect them to dominate the skies. And WDS Eagle on the other side has raised my eyebrows on their performance in a good way, of course. See how they can do on defense, though. That is Eagle on the ball. Countered away. Cole Chandler leading up as that blocker to try and inspire the SNHU team ahead. I like the confidence, but you gotta make sure the saves are made too. Savage gets in front of him.
You know, that could have taken a 1v1 situation there in that moment, but said I would better off being able to disturb the back line, and we see it pay off here as SNHU another lead here after taking game number 2 and dropping a goal early to the Eagles. They're able to answer back pretty quickly.
Squishy versus Savage there. Squishy had the right idea, trying to get to the ball quickly before it crossed the full plane of the net, and just couldn't time it right. At that point, it's an easy layup for Savage Slayer, and that lead for South New Hampshire.
Cole Chandler right back on into has been certainly one of the more active players here, both physically and on the offensive side of the ball. I see Nerfwood trying to challenge here as well, but Savage all the way to the ceiling. Like to see this play. He might have punched it away from a teammate, able to recover on this one. His Eagle has control of this one too, and was working his way eventually to the net, but it was denied. Now back out to center. Squishy Shark will rotate around, has plenty of room, but unfortunately forgot the ball. Gonna need that. As Cole Chandler will let the shadow back here into the 50-50, but now that you see a teammate being bumped, a great job just to get it out the center, but will ultimately give away possession here as Squishy trying to dive in, does get the touch, and a sharp-angled shot here by the Shark. And Eagle White will get that right back here and equalize with a minute 11 left.
Sometimes the scenic route is the better taken, as Squishy Shark had to put it around the net to get past the defenders. Just came down to whether you can get that sharp angle you mentioned, and Shark said yes. 2-2. These teams know how to be tied in this final minute. Last time it was Eagles White to have that clutch factor in that late goal. See if they can do it again.
Squishy Shark demoed more of that physicality here under a minute in game number 3. And Squishy Shark going to try to punch it. Utilize that back wall again, as we've seen pretty frequently, but that one's going to be denied here in this moment. And Eagle with the 100 boost in hand will take a shot, but Squishy Shark able to fight it off. Cole Chandler right back in their place. This will be off back wall, but a great read once more. You call them out as a great defender, and Fallen Realms will strike again.
That's right, and has been a great playmaker today as well, so maybe keep an eye on Fallen to tee up that final shot from the Eagles White. Instead of handing it off to Fallen, it dips it off to WDS. Makes their mark on that play. 10 seconds to go in regulation before we maybe get to OT, but Savage Slasher wants to end it right here. Skies up for the shot. It's blocked away well by the defense of the Eagles. One final tall touch meets a 50 at the center of the field to give us extra time.
And how appropriate with how close it's been. 1-1 series, 2-2 in this game. Overtime is just a mid, right at midfield. Let's both hit it at the same time and kill it down to the ground. It's literally a metaphor for what we've seen in this series. It's been that close. Been that back and forth as well. Great job in support here. Eagle actually got a demo. Set out free. Up a little something. Savage Slasher tries to get back wall, but Cole Chandler, I believe, was out for a demo or a bump, but didn't have ball cam on, so made it a little bit more difficult to be able to challenge it here. But right back to it are the Eagles. Will fall down from the ceiling. This one across, dangerous if Eagle can't touch it. Luckily for them, Squishy Shark a little bit farther back than we're used to seeing him, so maybe playing a little bit conservatively here in this overtime as SNHU just going to punch it out to midfield.
Yeah, well, it opposes his teammate Nerfa, who earlier in extra time was getting a demolition on the last man of SNHU. So they're maybe just trying to cover all their bases on the field. And, oh, Cole Chandler almost let that coal burn hot, fiery chance near the goal line. A second try from Savage Slasher leaves this ball high and wide. And, oh, the turnaround from Shark over to Nerfa nearly connects. But the redirect goes high. Ballin topping up on boost, getting past two. This is a golden opportunity for the Eagles wide. Pass across the plane of the goal goes blocked by Chandler.
Eagle had a big touch, but there was nobody there because they double committed a bit. And maybe the goal Chandler would be able to get back into that one and bail them out because that was a very dangerous look here. And the Eagles could have easily potentially been able to end this game. Take the series lead again. One of these teams has to do it eventually, but it feels like it might take a little bit longer than we're used to in an overtime. Very tense. I mean, you can cut the tension with a knife. That might feel it. You got a demo out in front. Good read from Nerfa. Shuts down two now with a double commit. But it looks like the Eagles white were out of boost. They weren't able to get to the counterattack like they wanted there.
I don't know if Squishy Shark's got something sharp out again to try and get that angle, or if it's just gonna be Nerfa to put it away. Leading into the block play from Fallen, the disruption proves successful to carve that lane for Nerfa.
And Eagle almost looked like they're anticipating that. And, I would have liked to see a challenge out for who has the ball, especially when you know that your teammate was demoing out there. But at the end of the day, you're making those quick time decisions, and you just have to brush it off and move on to the next one because it will happen from time to time. A lot of defense from the Eagles this time around. It was actually sneaky how much of an advantage SNHU had on the offensive side of the ball based on that shot count alone, plus the amount of saves that were up there. Nerfa had a very slow start to the series, but has certainly amped it up as of late, and the Eagles certainly could use it too as the Eagles white team able to take the lead here in the series.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see more from Nerfa throughout the series because they did it all on either end of the field. 4 of the teams, 8 saves that game, but was the one harassing in overtime. Just kind of said, I'm done playing full-time defense. I'm going to be bold and create these chances in overtime. So you don't often see that kind of boldness in Division 6. So I'm really excited for Eagles White. Bring that into the regulation time, bring that coming out the gate in game number 4. Now that you have the momentum and just continue to try to disrupt SNHU, because getting a team out of their flow here in the semifinals is all how it goes to get a little extra advantage.
No doubt. I think, SNHU coming in, the Patriots Yellow team 6-1 as we pointed, and very close to that perfect record. In the playoffs, faced off against Temple, but this team is a whole different level that they're going up against. This Eagles white team has certainly proved to us already they can play this team close. That was nearly perfect, but Squishy Shark right back at it again. 1-0 lead here as they just got the better of this opportunity. You get balls deep, and this is what happened.
I mean, if there's one thing that's being learned of SNHU, it is that do not let Squishy Shark get the ball off the backboard. These reads have been excellent ever since game number 1. Shark is just dialed in for those chances off of the backboard. It's a great start here for the Eagles White. That overtime win leading into more success here for game 4.
Cole Chandler's Giving away possession here, was hoping to be able to get back down to it or have some support from his team. Eventually it will punch through though, and here's a chance for Eagle as it goes back wall. Nerfa on it too. As we've seen so many times in this series, it kind of lays stagnant there at midfield. That's until Nerfa took it upon himself to jump into the play. This one will be up. Squishy Shark opportunity, just a little bit high on that shot here. Allows it back, but Eagle not able to connect here. Fallen Realms did a great job of just focusing as it looked like it was going to be off and was. But now it's in the hands of Cole Chandler. He's got a clean dribble here. A 50-50 will open it up, but Eagle that close to being able to get to it. Back and forth play, but a big save from Nerfa. Follow-up shot is denied as well as the Eagles will somehow get away with their lives there.
It's like 4 saves in a row, and WDS Eagle just kept firing away again and again and was met with the same opposition each time. Incredible resistance that we saw there from the Eagles White to hold that 1-goal lead. How many more saves can they collect just to hold on? It's been impressive. Maybe they can turn it around for a chance themselves. Squishy Shark trying to cut through that midfield line, but Cole Chandler saying, no, go back on home. They've got the tie ball game.
Are you surprised we're back even here, Pyro? It's no way. All series long, back and forth. No team can truly pull away. I would be shocked if you told me a situation where there's actually been a 2-goal lead. I'm not sure there has been. Maybe it was in game 1. I don't even think so at that point in time. It's been that back and forth, and you love to see these two teams battle it out like they have.
I really do, because it's all about the response play. So the onus sort of on SNHU now. You know, you got scored on. Can you battle back as you have so many times? You know, I'm looking at WDS Eagle. They've gotten all those chances, all those tries, all those shots. Maybe they can continue the success for SNHU and respond with a win this time for this team. See, as a clear's going to be hard to pick up there. Fallen Realms collecting all of the power necessary to see the other side of the field. Cole Chandler whipping that one around. Squishy Shark better off leaving that for a teammate. WDS gets past 2, goes for the demo, but misses. Great evasion tactics there for the Eagles.
Back on in the corner, Cole Chandler. Left for Eagle as they'll play it over the side while they try to gain some traction from there. A clean carry, even maybe got a flip reset, but wasn't allowed the opportunity to use it as Nerfa was on it. Also a shot taken, but Cole Chandler able to turn that one away. This one's still hanging in the middle of the field, but a couple of demos will get a little bit awkward there for SNHU. When they get the shot off, it'll be well wide of the target. Here is Squishy Shark will now try to play into the corner, but they've got some pressure continuously mounting on them. Cole Chandler with that back flip to try to pop it into the zone, but nothing doing here as that one's denied as well. Now a good setup touch there from Nerfa, but the turn not able to beat the defender here as WDS Eagles showcasing some of that speed you talked about. Now right back into the hands of SNHU, but still not able to get out to midfield. They do have some boost in the tank, so we'll see if they can get a clean breakout here defensively.
It's been tough to break out because you have players like Nerfa, once again, bringing that boldness out in this team of Eagles White that I talked about before the game started. You saw Nerfa stay in the orange end of the field, even with no boost. You know, pick up a pad and go again. They're willing to risk it all for this winning goal, and they might just get it here. Nerfa, again, on no boost, will pick up pads as Cole Chandler works to get a creative 180 on the car. WDS Eagle breaking free, but missing that touch. Nerfa goes in for the shot, and Cole Chandler flips right into the ball to get that save. A momentary chance there for the Eagles White goes uncollected, but that doesn't mean they're out of chances. This ball's still being fired away one side or the other.
Great anticipatory mindset here for SNHU as Eagles White. We're certainly in that moment as Eagle now punching off the side wall. Opportunity, shot taken. A bullet from Squishy Shark will give the Eagles the lead with 18 seconds left.
Rocket from the top rope. Squishy Shark didn't think twice about getting to that goal, and that has been the key for Eagles White. Boldness, no hesitation play, and it could be the goal that puts them up 3-1 in the series, maybe 3-1 in the game. Yes, indeed. Fallen Realms follows up the Shark.
For the first time, they're able to deny an answer back on the goal card and put one in for their own and put an exclamation point on this one. Yes, punching closer to the 3-1 in this series, which is incredibly important when you've seen these close games play out the way that they have. First 2-goal lead in the series, potentially, and SNHU not able to have the time necessary here in game number 4. It'll hit the ground. Eagles White will march to match point.
Very different road to get here that both of these teams took. Eagles White ending that regular season with 4 wins and 2 losses, coming away still as the 2 seed, but the more monumental performance coming from our team trailing in the series now. South New Hampshire, that 6-1 record, not standing as tall as they had hoped it would in this matchup. And as a response, South New Hampshire calling a timeout here, BearLight, just to ground themselves a little bit. You mentioned that there hasn't really been a 2-goal lead yet this series. That's very possible until now, right? Eagles White following up that go-ahead goal with a 3rd in the game. So if there's ever been momentum in this series to cut away with a timeout, now's the time.
Yeah, because there's 2 options in my brain as far as what happens when we come out of here, and it's not just as simple as one team will get out to the lead and one will not, but it's more so the Eagles have a grand opportunity to really put one in quickly and make it feel like SNHU is out of this one here if they're able to ride that same momentum that they were able to establish late in that game and then roll it into a game where they have the opportunity to close out. They can. Other option, SNHU comes out, is able to get that bounce back effort they have, put multiple goals on the board, which has been a struggle for them, really for both teams, honestly. But for SNHU, really trying to break through a tough defense from Eastern Eagles. SNHU has had some great defense of their own, but it's time to stop playing conservatively. They need to ensure that they not only get the first one on the board, but potentially put an exclamation point that really gives everybody here, including ourselves, a reason to start buzzing for the Patriots yellow team that we know they can be and saw all semester long.
Yeah, listen, they have the resume to show for, so now it's about putting it in action and, acting like they didn't lie on the resume just to get the job here, to get to the semifinals position here in playoffs. And I think the way to do that, right, the way to be a bit bolder like we've seen from the Eagles is hit them where it hurts. Eagles White doing great disruption play. They may not even have possession, but Nerfa will still be running amok looking for a demo on the other side. Evade those demos, turn it around and make them pay for overextending. There are going to be those moments. It's not going to be continuous, but there will be those moments where Eagles White are lacking on the defensive end. They just don't have it ready in transition. And that's where you can really make them pay. And that's where you can then make them question. Should we be as aggressive as we're playing? Should we be having those lead blockers on the counterattack? Once you play that disruption game, once you take a team out of their rhythm, that's where you can flip the script. That's where the timeout helps a lot. And that's where you get 3 wins in a row, which is required to advance to the championship. So, BearLight, it's all about that adjustment needed here for South New Hampshire University Yellow to then play the winner of the other side here, which I think in Division 6 East playoffs is Endicott College and University of Southern Maine. Endicott, probably a team neither of these squads want to have to face.
No, we've seen them for sure against Post University just a week ago.
Yeah.
This team is dynamic, and not only do you have playmakers, but all 3 can really, truly start those plays from the defensive side. So it's going to be tough for sure looking forward. Obviously, you don't want to overlook this series either, but at the same time, you got to prepare yourself for a team like that, no doubt about it. And you mentioned rhythm here for Eagles Whites. Well, they're going to get it right here as Nerfa steps up to the plate. To say that they're in rhythm is an understatement here, and that is a quick one on the board.
Just imagine Eagles White during the break turning their music up a little louder, just rocking to whatever beat of the drum they've been on, because they're on it all right. That's going to be a 2nd goal off the kickoff. And SNHU unable to prevent exactly what you said, BearLight, would hurt them.
I'm telling you, they jumped out, rode that momentum, And I don't know what happened, man, but game 2, somebody unlocked Nerfa, and Nerfa has been going absolutely bonkers in this series since that point in time, and the Eagles certainly could have used it, and they will continue that same train in SNHU. Just want to try to stop the bleeding, if nothing else, to at least get themselves settled into what is a quite a roller coaster ride already for game number 5.
Yeah, this is the biggest test that SNHU will face, and not only of their team, but of their character. Their mettle being tested here because you don't want to break from the plan. 2 kickoff goals. Don't change how you direct yourselves across the next 2, maybe even 3 minutes of this game. You still have an opportunity to dictate the pace of this game, despite the scoreboard, as they do find themselves in the blue end of the field. Savage Slasher with maybe a double tap. Cole Chandler with a shot off the bar. Opportunity runs dry as Fallen redirects it off the backboard. And now Eagles White back in position to score. Savage makes the big save.
That is such a tough pill to swallow for the Patriots. They're that close, and a great shot, great effort, everything was right about that sequence, except they weren't able to score. That's the only thing. And unfortunately, it did not favor them, and it's a big one too, because you need to get a couple back here and pretty quickly to feel good about your opportunity here. But now you see them punching through, and because you were able to get one opportunity on the board, suddenly the Eagles are striking back.
Fallen collects this one and reaches high off the backboard to bat that off over to Nerfa. Player you mentioned was the one to be scared of at this situation, but there's a lot to be scared of if you're Fallen Realms. Demoed off the play. Cole Chandler may have a lane to score here, but Nerfa, the next one to save. So Eagles White doing a great job on defense, playing their role even when one goes down. Another establishes the next layer.
And Cole Chandler not able to connect here. Eagles going to take a shot, fires one on, but Fallen Realms able to easily handle that one. And Nerfa got a little bit of help that time to get it out of the zone with a bit of a pinch, but look out. Fallen Realms was way too far forward, but Squishy Shark able to bail them out again.
Those are exactly the moments I talked about before this game started where SNHU have to score. Rarely Eagles White will overextend, but when they do, just fly that ball in the net. Narrowly, it was saved. And Eagles White back on their very stingy defense. They may be low on boost, but they know how to play their roles. And they know how to get a wheel in the way, which Fallen will be able to do. Turning around on it is Nerfa. That hook shot taken care of by Savage.
But I like what SNHU is doing here. They're finding each other pretty well. It's just they weren't able to find it when it was open a couple of times. Still, you got to be right back to it. The timeout, unfortunately, not reaping the benefits you want from the goal column, but certainly you're starting to play a better team game and everything's developing. They're hoping not late, but still the shots are just being found. The Eagles White just have this detection system that's been very great defensively.
Oh my, WDS Eagle nearly found a lane around, but Nerfa caught a fender and knocked him out. And that took away that counterattack chance for SNHU again. I talked about the game plan not needing to be changed after 2 kickoff goals, but here we are now, 80 seconds remaining, and well, you gotta throw everything at the net. Maybe it's just the Eagle flying again. Found the top corner earlier today, and with maybe 200 boost in the tank, would have found it again, but falling flat on that aerial and having to try again is SNHU.
Squishy Shark on it now, just trying to kill time here at this point. Obviously, you don't want to let off the gas by any means. SNHU, you're hungry for one right now. And you want to play the same way that's made you successful here in the series. But Cole Chandler leaves it here. A floater will challenge Eagle. It's been very good up in the air, appropriately enough. But Savage Slasher still getting that ball taken away. Squishy, now a good pop to a teammate. Nerfa again. That's their hat trick here in game number 5, and the Eagles now up 3-0.
Nerfa again. Talked about how they came alive in game number 2. Game number 1 was like a Snorlax using rest. Fully prepared for the rest of the series to go full body slam. What a hat trick in what should be the game winner, the match winner for Eagles to get on to the championship finals of this NECC Division 6 East playoffs, but they just gotta close out here. A couple more touches, BearLight, and they'll have crossed the finish line.
And that might even honestly do it in its own regards. They played extremely well throughout this series. There was a couple of close ones early in this one, but since then, the Eagles were able to come to life off the back of Nerfa, who showed up after game one, and the rest of the team was there from the get-go, and they put up some performance of a lifetime and have now, with this opportunity, once more punched their ticket to the NECC Championship of the East Region of Division 6.
Eastern Esports Eagles ascend to the championships of the NECC, eliminating the likes of South New Hampshire University Yellow in a 4-1 matchup that looked as even as ever early on, but sometimes players just lock in and break through, and that's what we saw here from the Eagles White. What a team to perform. And, I'm a little bit sad, BearLight, because I really enjoyed watching SNHU. I really enjoyed watching players like WDS Eagle go for those top corner aerial plays that really formed the highlight reel of this series, but in the end was not enough.
I mean, I was looking at this series like, I accidentally had it wrong in my notes, Div 4. That's what it looked like, when we actually got things wrong. I mean, they were, like, on fire. They're incredible and mechanically. Eagle was insane as far as being able to catch those, but just wasn't able to put up enough effort. And I think, when we talk about SNHU and the Patriots Yellow team, they'll look back at this series and see just how many opportunities were there and were close. And it's not that they weren't always opportunistic. It's not that they were kind of struggling in that regard. Certainly there's a couple that were their fault, but you can't fault them for every single one. There's a couple of shots where it just bounced in away from a teammate. Unlucky situations there in those moments, but you're still going to be able to regroup going into next semester and say, we were that close to being able to make the finals. If we just clean up a few things, we certainly will find ourselves there eventually. A valiant effort, but it doesn't take away from the greatness that we saw from the Eastern Eagles here in this series.
Greatness indeed. A flavorful series, a tasty one. Reminds us of one of our sponsors here today for the NECC playoffs here. What's made in Wisconsin? What goes great with gaming? Wenzel's Farm, legendary Wisconsin. Beat sticks since 1977. 14 mouth-watering flavors. Meet your heart out. Wenzel's Farm, legendary Wisconsin beat sticks since 1977. Chef's kiss indeed, BearLight. We got more tasty matchups coming up very shortly. After this break, we'll head to the Division 4 playoffs of NECC to close out our night. Don't go anywhere.